So that's the most. Here's how it happens. Okay? Do, do, ka, do, ka, do, ka, go, and we come to right? So just before that do that we added, your right hand's going to play ka, do as it comes around. Does that make sense? Here we go. Let's try it nice and slow. So, can you see me okay? Let's see. Yeah. Thanks, bro. Let it out. Here we go. So, then. Right. So, kind of make sense? So, then. Exactly. You got the head next. Here you go. So, then. Good. Now from here, we simply do ka, left. So two lefts in a row. Yeah? And the rhythm is ka, do, ka. Exactly. So right. Left, left. Can we do just that from kind of here? So I'm going to go right, left. Yeah, again. So, right, left. Good. Can we add that to everything we've got thus far? So, there. Yes. Nicely done, everybody. That's it. So, there. Exactly. Two more times. So, there. So, then. Good, now from here, we're simply going to continue our rhythm moving around. And we're going to play the ka at kind of 4 o'clock. And then do. And mercifully, that's the end. Yeah? So, if we go from, we did this arm swing coming over this way, yeah? If we go from here, it goes ka, do, ka, do, ka, ka. Does that make sense? Can we go from here? Does that make sense where I am? I just came across this way. So, then, ka. Again, crossing the arms kind of, we just came around and so that. Does that make sense? Okay. So, let's stumble through it once, and then I'll back up and I'll teach it again sort of in terms of like what we should be focusing on in terms of flow. Let's see if you can follow me for the sticking. Let's do this 3 times. And then we'll go back, and then even if you don't have enough of that, you'll have another chance here. Here you go, from the top. So, there. Again. Yeah. So let me explain a little bit about what the purpose of these movements is. Yeah, where the focus should be. And I haven't figured out what the right terminology is in speaking this, but the word flow always seems to come up. Okay. So if you imagine that the tips of your bachi are glowing. Yeah. Basically, what we're doing in this thing is we're drawing these things in space with our bachi, right? And you kind of want them to seem like one motion is connected to the next. You know how in Omiyage there's all these things like Stonga, and we sort of take our right arm, we bring it over here, and then it switches over to our left, and then it comes back, right? In the same way, we want all of these motions to be kind of connected. Okay? So, what is the focus at any one time in this phrase? At the beginning, it's with your right hand. Okay? So at the top here, I want to see ke, and then the right hand comes down, do, kind of down to here, and then it's going to draw that big circle. Ka, do. Does that make sense? So it's really all about the right hand. Up high, imagine the right bachi's glowing. Ke, do, comes down, and then ka, big swoop. Yeah, can we do just that much? And think about your right and think about drawing that big, beautiful circle. So, then, do. Making sense? So, then, do. Yeah, it's looking good. Okay? We'll do this one more time, and then at that moment it's going to change. So, then. Our focus changes to our left hand. Okay? So at that do, now it's all about this big, beautiful left circle. Yeah. And basically, what makes a circle look great in Taiko, that looks good, Patrick, is having the arm be basically as straight as you can make it, okay? But not rigid. Yeah? In general, we have this way of moving in Taiko. This might be a North American thing, maybe a Taiko project thing too, but we lead with the arm. You know what I mean? Like, we delay the motion of the bachi just a little bit to give you the sense that the arm is leading. Can you see what I'm doing when I'm doing that? Yeah? The same is true here. We want our arm to be basically as straight as we can stand it, but it shouldn't look like this. Right? We don't want it to be rigid. It should look like our arm is dragging this big bachi around. Yeah? And you can almost imagine that you're in water or something, right? That's the kind of motion. Yeah, good. And it's okay, I think, if you have to really get your body out of the way to let your arms stay straight, it's going to look okay. To do something, even if you're leaned way over. It'll look better than something like this, where your body stays upright, but your arm does something awkward. Does that make sense? Okay, so we have ke, do, ka, in right, do, now it's all about the left. Exactly. Ich, ni, so, there. Okay, and then we do that do ka ka thing. The moment that that right hand plays this bottom ka, the focus goes back to our right hand for this. Yeah? And that's where it's at. For that last swoop, it's about the right hand against the Sure. So it should be right hand, do, ka, big circle, do, left hand, ka, do, ka, back to the right hand, do, ka, and then from here you're just sort of finishing it off. Does that make sense? Okay, think about flow. All the way through, do the whole thing 3 times. So, then. Yeah. That'll take more time, obviously, really to sink in. Yeah. The way that I would, and we won't do it today, but the way that I would approach this is I would keep doing this until it sinks in and I can basically play it. Then I would look at myself in the mirror, or I'd take a video, and I'd see if there's anything standing out that I can really grasp onto to fix. A lot of times I'm doing something awkward but I don't realize that. My head's forward or my shoulders are up or something. So I refine it a little bit, okay? And once I get to a point where I feel like, maybe it could look better, but I don't know what else to do. At that point, I make an M1 through 4 sandwich with my new phrase. So I would do Tribeca, M1, Tribeca, M2, Tribeca, M3, Tribeca, M4, Tribeca. Does that make sense? And if you do that with every rhythm that you've got, if you sandwich it in between all these other rhythms that you know, then you'll be ready to use it in your solo. Does that make sense? You'll be ready to interchange them. And some rhythms have more complicated beginnings and endings. Some start with your hands in a different position than others. Thankfully, M1 through 4 all end up here. Yeah? And so all you have to learn in order to be able to get from here into Tribeca is to do this ket thing. Right? That's the only little tricky thing. But you might have some other phrase that ends down here, and now you got to learn how do I get from here all the way up to here in time for that rhythm. Your brain's got to figure all that out. But by doing these little sandwiches, that's how you put it in your pocket and you'll have it ready to go. And my procedure has been just to keep adding these and keep trying to come up with new phrases and to learn them this way. Start by just learning the basic phrase. Refine it if I can with video or with friends or Maz's input. And then I make these sandwiches and practice it there. Once you've got a few of these, then you can start to build solos that are pretty exciting. Because now you can say, okay, I got Tribeca. Tribeca is my bread and butter. It's going to be my go-to thing at the end of the phrase. I'm going to do M1, 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 M2, M1, M2, M4, M4, Tribeca. Right? And now you've got a little solo that has some like growth to it. Right? And you can say, okay, my first M1 through 4, I'm going to crescendo. Dom, 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 ka. I'm building up, and I'm getting close to Tribeca, ket, do, do, ka, do, ka. You know what I mean? And you can, all this gives your solo some shape. So what we do is we take a basic Bon Taiko structure, and then we give the soloists so many bars, so much time to work on their solo, and they just take the phrases they know, and they're all different for all of us, and they arrange them into something. Yeah? And Maz, for example, Maz is good enough that he can kind of do it on the fly. Yeah? But for a lot of us, we need to sort of prep that, and I'll actually write it out. I'll write it on paper, M1, M2, Tribeca, or whatever. And sometimes I'll have an idea, like I can take the first half of Tribeca. Maybe I do. So you just start to have these ideas. Oh, now, okay, since I'm there, what if I did this? What if I took the second half? You know, it starts to lead to like a composition for your solo. And that's what makes Bon Taiko solos for me really exciting, is when they have that kind of, in Japanese we say merihari, right? This sort of ebb and flow, this sort of excitement to it, rather than just being, you know, all loud, all the time, all movements, you know, it has some sort of dimension to it. So in our last few minutes, I want to show you an example Bon Taiko arrangement, yeah, that will let you stuff solos into it, and you can do this all day long, and it's really fun. Make sense? Okay. So, one of my favorite things about Bon Taiko music, and again, this is my interpretation of it. You have to take this with a grain of salt. I haven't actually played at the Obon in Tokyo or anything. But I love the speed up and slow down of pieces like Midare Uchi by Skeroku Taiko, where they get really fast and they get suddenly very slow. Okay? The thing you need to know to do that is, what we use is a simple cue that we play to tell everybody, get ready, we're going to slow down. Yeah, it's like pulling on the brakes. And this cue goes, do do kara don don, 3 times, plus don kara kaka. So it sounds like, do do kara don don, do do kara don don, do do kara don don, don kara kaka. Does that make sense? And the sticking is simply right, left, every time. Do do kara, right, left, right, left, right, left, 3, right, left, plus don, ka, da, ka, ka. Can we do the cue? Yeah, can we play that all together? Do, do, ka, da, dom, dom, 2, do, do, ka, da, dom, dom, 3, do, do, ka, da, dom, plus, dom, ka, da, ka, ka, si, sol, re. Making sense? Can we play it faster? Yeah. Do, do, ka, da, dom, dom. We're going to play it one time normal and one time slowing down. It's going to sound like do do ka da don don, do do ka da don don, do do ka da don don, don ka da ka ka, do do ka da don don, do do ka da don don, do do ka da don don, don. And instead of that, we cut off the ka da ka ka at the end and we end with that don. Does this make sense? We play it 2 times, slowing down the second time through, and you can kind of follow me for the slowdown. Yeah? Do, do, ka, da, don, don, si, sol, re. Exactly. Make sense? It's really dramatic and really fun. Yeah? So the basic structure of these On Ensemble solos is you start kind of slow, and the soloist gradually speeds up, and you can switch through multiple soloists at this fast tempo, but you let this fast tempo exist for a while. Don 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 ka da ka ka, do do ka don don ka da ka ka, ka don ka ka don ka do go da ka don don ka da ka. Someone else plays don go don 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 ka da ka ka, ka do don ka da ka ka, kit don ka don whatever you want. Don don, and then we have do do ka da don don, do do ka da don don, do do ka da don 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 ka da ka ka, do do ka da don don, do do ka da don don, do do ka da don don, and then you start it again. Don ka da ka. You can do that all day long. It sounds so good. Yeah? It sounds awesome just to go fast and slow. Make sense? Okay. So what I want to practice now is I'm going to give you what I call M's. 8 M's. We used to talk in terms of bars for length, and it would get very confusing because 1 bar technically is dun da da dun dun the duty. So M1 is 2 bars. Yeah? So don't takes the length of 2 times. Anyway, it gets all confusing. Now, M1, we call that 1M in length. Like typography, you have an M. Sort of like that. We have a length called an M. 8 M's, you could play M1 8 times. Or you could play M1 4 times and M2 4 times. You could do 4 3 2 1 4 3 2 1. That's 8 M's in length. Make sense?
How long is Tribeca?
Tribeca is 2 M's. I'm sorry, 4 M's. No. Yeah, 2 M's, I was right. Yeah, it counts as 2 M's. So you can do M1, M2, M3, M4, M1, M2, Tribeca. And that's 8 M's in length, for example. Okay? Do whatever you want. Yeah, you can keep it kind of simple. It's going to be kind of fast, so Tribeca is going to be hard at this tempo. But I'm going to give you 8 M's to play whatever you want, and then we're going to do the Q 2 times and slow down. Make sense? Yeah, so you can do dom, 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 ka da ka ka, dom, 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 ka da ka ka, 3, dom, ka da ka ka, 4, dom, dom, ka da ka ka, dom, 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 ka da ka ka, dom, 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 that's too hard, dom, 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 ka da ka ka, dom, 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 ka da ka ka, do do ka da dom, dom, do do ka da dom, dom, do do ka da dom, 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 ka da ka ka, do do ka da dom, 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 ka da dom, 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 ka da dom. I'm awesome. Yeah? Okay. So 8 M's into our slow down cue. Yeah? E and dum, 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 dum. might represent, for example, a short solo of 8 Ms in length. Okay? Now, if you do this too frequently, so let's say, okay, you've got your bag of tricks. You've got M1 through 4. Now you kind of have tried that, and then you've got one move of your own. You might be able to piece together an 8M solo with that. Doing this speed up and slow down over the course of 8 is difficult because it's not quite enough time. Yeah? So we need a way to have soloist 1 speed us up, and soloist 2 hop in at that speed and just play it through. Maybe soloist 3 also play, and then soloist 3 slow it back down. Right? We have these like 3 short solos over the course of that speed up and the slow down. Yeah? So we need a way to switch. Do you guys ever switch at the drums? Okay, I'm just going to show you this real fast. This is fun. Okay? We need a way for example, Maz to be playing, and Maz to step out and me step in his place as the soloist and keep the groove going. Okay? This is actually pretty easy. What happens is, Maz is going to play the cue 2 times. His first one's going to be a signal, like, I'm going to switch out. And the second one, he's going to end up, he's not going to slow down, he's going to keep the tempo, and he's going to step out on dome, and I'm going to play the kata in his stead. Does this make sense? So Maz is playing. It's that easy. Yeah? So I just have to show you this little switch. And that way, at tempo, you can change as many times. You can switch back and forth between 2 people, do whatever you want, and then someone, when they're ready, then we call it the slow down, we call it killing it. Yeah? So you ramp up, you solo, and then you kill it. And you ramp up and you play it, and then you kill it. And I swear you can do that all day long, and it sounds awesome. Yeah? Especially if each soloist is different, right? Now you've got your own little thing, you're trying to do something. It's really fun to see how everyone's different. Okay, so let's practice this switch. We need pairs. Maybe you 2 pair up, you 2 pair up. Why don't you 2 be together, you 2 and you 2. And then Maz and I will do here. Why don't you hop? Actually, you and I do here. Why don't you come on over? Okay, so basically, you can switch at any point where you have a don karakaka. We showed you the cue just because it tells the next soloist, okay, it's coming up. But let's shorten it. For example, right now you just do M1, don, switch, and the next person would play the karakaka, for example. Does this make sense? To do this, person A, okay, the person playing, is going to be in position. Person B, who is going to switch in, you need to be behind person A. And if anything, you want to err on the side of being to their left. It's easier to enter from the drum side than it is from this sort of player side. Does that make sense? So player B should be behind and if anything to the left. Player A, the person at the drum, you're going to play, for example, with M1, don, and on the final don, you're going to step forward with your right foot. Okay, this is how you get out of the way of the next person. Exactly. Does this make sense? So let's just try this very slowly. We're going to do don, and out, and player B is going to sneak in and play ka. Let's just try it one time. Ich, ni, so, re. Exactly. Now, if you caught yourself reaching for it, yeah? The solution is, you can enter. Could you stand here and do it for me? The solution is to enter from this side. Watch this, see if you can try it. If I come from in close, it's easy to sort of get the bati rhythm and sneak in, as opposed to trying to come from over here where I'm like, oh, yeah? Okay, let's try again. Player A in position. So, re. Okay, good. We got it, right? Player B, stay where you are. Let's try switching back to player A. Ich, ni, so, re. Can we continue switching? It'll take a little bit of running. Yeah? After you exit, do like this and go around the backside. Yeah? Here we go. So, left. Thank you. So now...
kind of just sort of shuffle out. I don't get the step thing. Is that important?
Okay, a little bit. So the way I do this is just before that final dome, I sort of slide up onto my left foot so that I can step on that right. Exactly. That's it. That's perfect. Now, if you're feeling comfortable, or if you're not feeling comfortable, if you need more practice, just stick with M1. If you are feeling comfortable, play any of the M's. So now you can do dome, 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 dome. It's really the same. It's just that you step out on that last dome. Yeah? If you're comfortable, play whatever tone you want. This will be our last thing. Let's loop through it. Yeah? Play whatever M you want, going back and forth. Each, the, sol, re. Like you saw us trading bachi with our thing, and you can toss bachi, and you can do all this stuff. But once you have these basic elements, the speed up, the switch at tempo, and the slow down, plus this concept of named phrases and arranging your solo, it's really easy to build songs. And you can, I mean, you could have all of you solo, and you can make it interesting just by using those in fun ways. Does this kind of make sense? So this for me is like, I mean, this is a lifetime of fun right here. You just keep adding these moves, we keep teaching them each other. Someone comes up with something, right? We learn it, you add this stuff, you develop it. My inspiration is hip-hop dance. Hip-hop dance is the most creative and vibrant art form that has no organization. You know, it's not like ballet that has hundreds and thousands of schools all around the world and these amazing, right? Hip-hop happens in garages by kids in Montana and Los Angeles and Tokyo, and people come up and they become beautiful dancers, right? And then someone sees someone do something and they take that and they change it and they make it better, right? And there's this great thing happening. And I want to find some way that we can have that happen in the Taiko world. So the best I've come up with is this idea of named phrases. Yeah. So here we have Tribeca. Just started to show you Tribeca, and you can learn that and you can incorporate and you can change it and you can say, I want to do it this way or whatever. But if you have your own phrases, yeah, you can share them with each other, you can share them with me, I need more phrases. And we can start to develop this stuff, and we can start to build on it. Just like the plie was not invented by one person, right? It was invented by 1,000 years of ballet dance. We need to do that with Tribeca. Right now it's just Chris's version, and that's not enough. We need to have you learn it and improve on it, and over time we'll come up with something. We are working on battles, sort of also in the hip-hop style. But we'll have this circle of people around the drum, and we'll have these sort of competitive drum sessions, right? So one person will play something, someone else plays something, we decide who wins, yay, you win, and we keep doing that. And we have these battles. But all of this is because I think On Taiko really is it's a deep and fun kind of music that has all this movement and rhythm. It's just so cool. So anyway, if you get excited about it too, we're going to have these things going on a lot. Our first sort of public battle is coming up on March 11th. We're going to do something else on April 15th. Hopefully we'll set up crews. You'll have a crew here in Salt Lake City, and we can get together and battle. We'll do stuff at Taiko Conference and whatever. So there's a lot more to come. It should be a lot of fun. That's basically it. Any questions? No? Good job, you guys. Let's circle up maybe and we'll close. If there's any last minute questions, we can do that. Anything I forgot to mention, Lance?
I don't know. Your website, like when's that going to come out? And how are they going to be able to view these moves? If they want to.
Yeah. So if you go to Vimeo, I have just, as a kind of an experiment, I've uploaded a few moves. There might be 12 or 15 or something. Just ones that Maz and I have come up with. They should be relatively easy to learn. We started filming from behind, so I think it's easier to learn from watching someone from behind. So we have a lot of the moves filmed that way.
Vimeo?
Vimeo. It's like YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah, it's vimeo.com.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can
Search your name.
Yeah, that's probably easiest. Or you can send me an email and I'll send you a link to it. I'm working on a website called Matsuri Research and Development, which it'll actually be like a storehouse for all these moves, where we can share them more effectively. I'm learning Drupal to figure out how to do it, so this gives kind of a long-term project because I don't know what I'm doing. But eventually we'll have a website where you can go and upload your moves and we can share stuff there. We have these battle structures based on practice and whatever, Taiko that you can find there. You can always email me at chris@onensemble.org if you have any questions. If you want to come to LA and practice, I have friends come over and practice all the time. We're having a lot of Moz comes over once a week and we come up with new moves. We've got some good stuff like tar pits where you do this. We got all sorts of good stuff going on. So, anyway, that's basically it. Welcome to the Bon Taiko Club, and we'll start moving around. Any other questions?
What is that thing on the ear?
On my ear? Oh, these are my earbuds. I just need a stashing place. A lot of people have a necklace, but yeah, it just seems to work. My ears are the right shape to hold me. Any other questions? No? Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
That's fun. Yeah. Yeah, really, if you ever come to LA, let us know. We're there. I'm practicing all the time. This is all.
Are you going to perform while you're here?
So we are headed to Pinedale. Is that our first stop?
Pinedale, I have a lecture demonstration at a school, and then an evening performance as well. And then we're on our way to Gillette for the kind of similar thing, lecture demonstrations for schools, and then an evening performance. And we come back. Right? That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
So, we gave you kind of like the ground rule for how to arrange more interesting things with Matsuri. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like this battle or this thing either.
Right.
But at least you understand the reason why Chris is doing Tribeca is just to add more to what it can be. And it's always something, it's always like something karakaka, right? Something karakaka. Yeah? So within that, I think you can build and add more phrases to it. Because right now, you guys just have those 4 or 5 patterns, right? And so to make it interesting, step away from that. I know some of you are playing flute. You can add flutes onto it. To me, it's mostly more of like a festival type of feeling, atmosphere thing. So whatever that might mean in your mind, I really encourage you guys to set up your own thing. Sometimes we do things like we play all together, and then we do a solo, and then speed up, and then we kill it, and then we go back to M1 through 4, whatever you guys are doing. So think of ways to arrange, interesting way of taiko. I think that's the main thing.
The don karakaka things are really, I'm glad you mentioned that, because it's really useful. If you just use don karakaka in interesting ways, it's really fun. So if you give it every M, don kada ka, don su, don kada ka. Now the audience has heard, okay, every M, I have this thing coming. And then you start to play with that and you don't give it every M. So you do don kada ka, don su, don kada ka, su, don su, don su, don su, don su, don su, don kada ka, su, doko ka, don ka, doka ka, don ka, doka ka, don ka, doko sko, don ka, don ka, doka ka, doka ka, don kada ka. Right? Because it's like, oh, not yet. Oh, there it is. Yes, right? It's that repetition that's really satisfying, and that don karakaka is a really useful tag. Basically, that's all it takes to make really fun music.
Do your glitch G too.
Yeah, so we have all these like advanced things. So one thing that we really like is the G, instead of going, we add an extra 16th note. We call it a glitch. Like this. You know this? This is just weird for me. Yeah. There's so much to do. So little time. Cool.
Can we come here and play when you're?
What's that?
How far away are you playing?
I don't know. How far is Pinedale? 4 hours? 5 hours?
Yeah, but I think there's a storm coming through. I don't really know how to get
You're talking
there.
Pinedale, Wyoming.
Yeah.
We're just kind of.
It's really bad.
Following our GPS.
Wyoming. It's away.
Yeah. So again, I don't know. It's 4 hours away according to Google Maps.
Yeah,
but
It'll be 12 hours
it's through the
tomorrow.
mountains. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully not.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where the big storm is. It's north of here, and you're talking north of here.
They just closed the roads, what
Yeah.
they do, so just pay attention.
Delightful.
Maybe I'll have to fly to the drive.
If you don't grab a hotel, you could be like in
Do we have time to show you what we did with Miyagi?
If you guys have time, we have time.
What's
They
this?
want to show us Miyagi.
Great. Awesome.
We do?
Sure.
Good.
All right. Right, because you haven't seen it in a while, right?